All right, everybody, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to Liberia Show Rise. I'm your host, Augustin Sharif, and I'm here with Dr. George. And today we are going to be discussing what is uncomfortable and what is a little uneasy for us, and we'll see exactly how we handle this broadcast. Those of you joining us on YouTube and Facebook, we say welcome to the broadcast. Shortly, you will be joining us on Freedom FM. I'm sure Freedom FM, I just got a notification they are having some issues, but I'm sure they will be relaying the show from our YouTube channel all the way straight to the airways. So thank you for joining us. Dr. George, how are you doing today, boss?
Oh, I'm doing great, thank you.
Uh, All right, good to have you on the broadcast. And today, look, we want to talk about something I feel so uncomfortable talking about because I have made one part of this world my farm road. I'm always in and out. So when I got the news, I don't know exactly how that impacts me directly. But introduce the segment. What we're going to be discussing today, introduce it, and then we'll just get straight into this meat and start beating around the bush.
Okay. Welcome for those of you who are joining us on Facebook and YouTube, and those joining us in Liberia. This is Liberia Rise. It's great to be with every one of you. Um, in recent weeks, we received news that the U.S. was going to place Liberia on travel ban. We had 60 days warning. After 60 days, there are several things that if Liberia don't meet up to, Liberia will be placed on travel ban. The United States of America is our primary country of travel as Liberians. The U.S. Embassy makes hundreds of thousands of dollars every year because many of us stay on long line because we want a visa to come to the U.S. And we do a lot of business, diplomatic business, different interaction with the United States of America. So hearing this news of a travel ban on the country is it's important for us to have the conversation around because there are several books that have been written, right? In the 1990s, there was a book written in the United States of Liberia, the United States of America, stepchild. Most of our symbols are duplicated or copycat or whatsoever, or plagiarized from U.S. symbols. Our flags look, our Liberian flag look like the American flag. Um, our pledge of allegiance is the same pledge of allegiance you hear the kids will say in the schools in Texas. So it's a similar pledge of allegiance to the United States and Liberia, just
Why,
the name
why you
change.
say Texas? Texas is not part of the U.S. Your own country, eh? Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So you have all those. You have all the symbols that we have. We say the law of liberty brought us here. Majority Americans came. The most more American history for most part of it starts with the Mayflower, the movement of Americans from Europe that settled here because of the war that was going on in Europe, or the crackdown on Christian groups during the time, the age of the Inquisition, the
Steven, I
Conquest.
want someone else to kind of,
So
yeah, for some reason, I feel like Dr. George, your stream is already breaking in. I don't know if it's your internet today, but Steven, correct me. Am I the only person getting that feedback, or are you getting the same thing? I just want to make sure if it is on my end, I want to correct it.
Dr. George is fine. I think it's your end, Sharif.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. George. Then I will correct it from my end.
yeah, so we still have the same issue of how our countries was founded. The United States of America, the country was founded when Americans came here from Europe to the U.S. Because of religious persecution, because of the crisis, wars that were going on in Europe. So you have the great influx of people from the from Europe coming here to form this country, the United States of America. The same thing with Liberia. We had our history, quote unquote history, starts with the movement of African Americans from here in free slaves that went back to Liberia to form our country. So we have the same love of liberty because we are in search of peace and freedom, freedom to worship, freedom to live as dignified human beings. That's we can definitely see that this is that there's the parallelism between how the U.S. history and Liberian history. Then we have the same color of flags, the red stripes, the blue field, the stars in the middle of the blue field, and the U.S. has more stars because the number of states, Liberia have only one star. So when you look at all that, I know you find out that Liberians have a lot of link. And, during the civil crisis, the Bush administration put into place the Resettlement Act that allowed thousands of Liberians to be resettled here because of that historical link between Liberia and the United States of America. Many Liberians who were in Staten Island, in Rhode Island, and other places here in the U.S. were able to send for their families from the refugee camp to come here to the U.S. on the resettlement program. We also had a visa lottery program that Liberians continue to enjoy. So this whole concept or the whole relationship has been going on for multiple years. And then out of the certain we hear about travel ban on Liberia. So our conversation this afternoon is going to go through that, the travel ban. What do you think about it? What do I think about it? And what we as Liberians can do about this situation is something that we all should take very. I mean, it's a serious situation, and I hope every one of us, including our government, is taking that serious. So let's start. Let's give ourselves a historical context or a background, right? In March of this year, when the Trump administration took over, the place Liberia on what we call the yellow list, informing Liberia that there was an integrity issue with our travel document. When we travel with passport for any country, the reason why we travel with those documents, when you get a passport, you travel in a passport, your country is saying that this person is a citizen of our country. We trust that this person has the integrity to represent us, and we believe that this person is going to live a respectable life in your country. And so we issue passport. We issue passport to respectable citizens. That's why when you ask for your passport, you have to go through the whole period of background check so that we know who you are and that we issue this passport. That the government have definitely found out that you are a citizen of Liberia. That's very, very key. That you are a citizen of Liberia, that you were born or you were naturalized in Liberia, and therefore our government is saying that this person is a Liberian. So now we know that the U.S. government is now saying, no, we are not too sure that everyone who you issue a Liberian passport to is a Liberian. So the first issue they had when they put on that list was the integrity of your passport. Our government was not shy. Our government did admit that we had integrity issue with our passport. And when we were placed on the yellow list. But then again, quite recently, on a couple of weeks ago, thereabout, we were now placed on a 60 days travel ban list. And the question is, why were we placed on the 60 days travel ban list? Looking at the diplomatic cable, there were several issues that were raised on that cable. The first issue was that the governments, the countries that were placed on the list, because not only Liberia, several African countries, the country that were placed on this list lacked competent cooperative government. That is, your government was not cooperating with the United States, the government of the USA. So when you think about it in the light that the US have already told us in March 2025 that there was integrity issue, and a couple of months, March, April, May, June, coming to June, because on June 5th or thereabout, the US issued a travel ban for certain number of countries. And 2 weeks after that, when we have our so when we were placed on that list, the list says that we were not cooperating. And it's an issue that we need to ask our government, why were we not cooperating? Because definitely we know that the foreign minister have been issuing some stench warning. The foreign minister had an investigation that shows that our Liberian passports diplomatic passports was in the hands of unscrupulous people. In fact, there was a memo that asked for the with that Liberian, all those who had Liberian diplomatic passport were to return those passports so that reissuance of the passport could take place. The- so the government could remove from within the system those illegal passport, those who were taking using our passport illegally. So therefore, there seemed to be a cooperation. But we need to ask our government what happened. Oh, what was the breakdown? What was the issue? When we started investigating or recording this passport, did we stop? Did we become, as we normally do in Liberia, become complacent? We did we believe that nothing was going to happen? All we do was to show, because that's what we do most of the time in our country. When something happens, we come with a lot of emotions, and after 5 days or a week or 2 weeks, everything goes down. Every life goes back to normal. Is that what happened in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Did the minister come and made this big statement pronouncement about of reinsurance of the Liberian diplomatic passport? Did people not take the passport back? Were the passport not recalled? Were new passport not with a new passport, diplomatic passport with extra security layer not put into place so that we knew we reduced the number of fraudulent people that carry a passport? Uh, I don't know. The second reason was reliable identity document. Now, that is also challenging because many of us know that many of us who have our Liberian passport and who those of us who did it the regular way of getting like we know that we are subject to fingerprinting. Now the question is, if every one of us are subject to fingerprinting, why do we have this problem of reliable identity document? Because the US government is saying that they cannot rely that if I travel with my passport, they are not 100% sure that my name is Emmanuel George or that I'm a Liberian citizen. So the document I carry to the embassy, or you carry to the embassy to get to be issued a visa, the US government is saying we need to show that it's reliable, that we can trust this document. Again, I know that when the Eden Johnson Sirleaf government came into power, into power, in there were a lot of things taking place, right? We became part of, we added the biometric passport when Madam Sirleaf became president, because before that time, our passport was in the hands of everybody. Our passport was being sold out. People were traveling. Liberia had there was about 94 countries in the world that Liberians could travel or visa. Especially countries in Asia like Thailand, I think Japan, South Korea. All these countries, Liberia did not really need visa at a point in time to travel to those countries. But our passports were being placed in the hands of unscrupulous people. And therefore, for you to go to Thailand, you had to leave from Monrovia, go to Abuja, spend about a week or two there before your visa could be issued, before you could either travel from Abuja or Lagos to go to Thailand, or you had to come back to Liberia to make that trip to Thailand. The same is true about going to South Korea and some of the countries in the Schengen area. So when Madam Sirleaf came, because of our travel document being sold to a lot of people in the South region, we changed to the biometric. So therefore, the Liberian passport was changed. We changed to the ECOWAS passport. Many of you who travel at that time, you know, we used to have these ordinary passport, ordinary Liberian passport. So ECOWAS, we changed to the ECOWAS passport, and biometric passport were added. And those of us who live in foreign country had to travel back to Liberia to get to go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get through the process of fingerprinting and other things in order for us to get our passport. So what happened between Madam Sirleaf 2005 and then about to now? Why is our passport no longer reliable? And there are several things we can look at, several things we can engage in, several conversation we can have. And that's why we are having this conversation today. I think Mr. Sherry is back here, so he's going to join me in this conversation. Mr. Sheriff, welcome. I don't know what happened to your internet, but so
I'm in Liberia.
okay. The third reason we learned about our passport is that many of us overstay our visa, In fact, in 2022, it was found out that 50 50.52% of us did not return when we came to the US with a visa, with a B1, B2 visa. Those of us who came on student visa, 29.95 of us did not return. And those of us who came on the B1, B2 visa, about 49.48% of us overstayed. Now, what does it mean by overstay? When you arrive at whatsoever airport you arrive here in the US, for many of you who don't know, when you go to the embassy and get your visa, that visa you get does not, let me repeat this if you don't know, does not guarantee you entry into the United States of America. So when you receive the visa, you then see in Monrovia with your family, everything, it does not guarantee you entry into the United States of America. It facilitates your travel from Liberia to the US. So when you get to the United States of America, whatsoever entry point you reach, you're going to meet border agents. It is those border agents that are going to determine finally whether you can enter the United States of America.
That's right.
So let me repeat this because many people don't know this. When you receive your Liberian pass visa in the US visa in Monrovia and you dancing having party, it does not guarantee you entry into the United States of America. It facilitates your movement. Now, when you get to the airport, the custom look at you. The custom officer may just look at you and don't like the way your hairstyle is. I don't say that what they do, but sometimes it happens. Or they may ask you a question and you stutter in answering those questions. You have to you may go through secondary check, and you may be returned. So visa does not guarantee entry. But once the custom officer guarantees your entry here into the United States of America, you are given a length of stay. So let's see, this what happens to this what happens to some people I've spoken to, right? When the custom officer gave you a length of stay, many of us think that because our visa says that we have 1 year, it means a 1 year. No, it's not 1 year stay in the US. What that custom officer stamp in your passport, I think most of the time in the US is 3 months, 3 to 6 months. I'm not too sure about that. I will check it out. But what? Oh, 6 months. Good. 6 months. So you are given 6 months. When you come at the airport, the custom officer stamp your passport. He gave you 6 months stay in the US. So that 6 months, your passport you would normally get because of diplomatic relationship between the US and Liberia. Liberian citizens normally get 1 year visa. Nigerian citizens get 5 to 5 years. I think Cameroonian citizens get 10 years. Liberian citizens would normally get 1 year multiple entry visa. That does not mean you're supposed to be in the US for 1 year. So when the custom officer gave you the 6 months and you stay more than 6 months, you have overstayed your visa. You have overstayed your stay. Because some of the time we argue, say, oh, but I have 1 year visa. No. That 1 year doesn't mean that when you stay. The person who determines your stay in the US is that immigration officer you meet at the border point. He stamps in your passport, and when you look at that paper that he puts in your passport is going to determine that you're going to be here for 6 months. Once you have that 6 months, it means you can only legally stay in the US for 6 months. You have to have it cut. But there is another catch. When you are filling in that application form at the American embassy in your application form, some of you say you are coming for 2 weeks. And but so though they gave you 6 months, but your application say you are staying for 2 weeks. Again, if you stay longer, it may be seen by those who reading the document that you overstay your visa. So there's 49.48% of us that overstay our visa. I'm going to stop here for now and bring in Mr. Sharif on this topic because I've been talking a lot. Mr. Sharif, welcome to the show.
Dr. George, thank you so much for holding down the fort. I think the point you were trying to make, or you were making, not trying, you made it very well, which is this whole concept of who determines you to enter the US. That is key. I really like the fact that you stress it enough, because I was speaking with someone from Liberia this week. That person has a visa. They're coming. And so I told him, I said, look, you coming to visit. How about you coming? You traveling with? The person told me, I mean, I come here to visit, so I'm coming with a lot of money. I said, how much is not a lot of money? He said, I think I got like 200 in my pocket. So I
Wow.
said, you had just told the American embassy that you come here on a tourist visa. You got lucky; they gave you a tourist visa, and when you come, you're gonna tell them you only got 200 to stay for 1 month. I said, you could potentially be stopped at that embassy, I mean, at the airport, and get sent back
Mm,
because they would look at that as, look, you don't have enough money to sustain yourself. Because you, as a tourist, coming and the only money you have on hand is 200, they can send you right back. And he said, what? I'm already in America at the airport. They can send me back. I already got my visa. So I really like the point when you stress it because people don't know that that visa you got in Monrovia, it does not say welcome to America. It does
no.
not say. So,
Until the
and
customs officer take your passport and give it to you and say, "Welcome to America," then you know you're in America, right? But
that's
if
right.
you take your passport and say, "Follow me," then go in the other room. There's two things can happen when you go in that other room. You either enter the US or you go to. I'm not discouraging you. I can tell you for a
No,
fact.
but it's good that we had a discussion. It's not discouraging anyone, but they need to know.
Being held at I said I was held in the airport in South Korea. I was held in the airport when I traveled to Thailand for the first time, and I was held in the airport when I traveled to India. Different reasons. South Korea was because my host needed to bring an insurance to show to immigration that I was insured under their protection while I was in the country. Thailand, they needed to have extra proof from my company saying that I was in this luxurious hotel and they were taking care of everything. And in what a place, India, I think the immigration officer in India, they wanted to talk to me for extra. Recently, I went to Guatemala, also held at the airport for a few minutes for them to do a background check on my passport and was given to me. So you can be held at any airport when you travel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but two things can happen when you are held. The two things can happen: either they put you back in the plane back to Liberia, or they come back and say, "Okay, your passport is correct, everything is doing good. You can go in. You can go in." It's not a beautiful experience. Or I didn't say I was also held in the UK, in the United Kingdom. I was held because of the old Liberian passport. Like the passport had just changed, and I still had the old passport. And the immigration guy wanted to know why I was still holding the old passport when I changed it, and we had to have a conversation around that. Or he had to take it to his supervisor to get approval to allow me
So,
enter in the United Kingdom.
so yeah. Let's get back to this whole potential travel ban because this is not a ban yet. It's not in effect, but this is the potential of that. And I think one of the things that the U.S. government is actually citing is this whole concept of national security concern or inadequate screening procedure. So when you look at it now, you have to go back now and look at our airports. When they looking at this inadequate screening procedure, we have all gone through. I say we, those of us on the platform here, we've all gone through security checks in Monrovia, Roberts International Airport. Some of us can say different story on how we go through our checks. Some of us have different way of how we just go through it. Okay. And so when you look at it, and we know exactly how when we come in, you have the lines, once a diplomatic, once a everybody else. I don't know exactly what the wording is, but sometimes you have the everybody else in the diplomatic line, the diplomatic people on the everybody else line. So all of these inconsistencies in screening procedure, all of these things, you never know exactly what is actually cited. I wish I had the document to show exactly what is cited and what our embassy received to actually point out what the U.S. government. But when it comes to screening, let's talk about screening, Dr. George. Let's talk about screening at our airports. I went to honestly, I went to Ghana, and I went through their process. And when I got to Ravosphere, I felt like, man, it's different. It's different. So let's look at the screening process. Let's see how are we vetted when we come into the country or when we leave in the country. What is that screening procedure look like? Have they ever asked you take your shoes off? Remove the belt. Let's go through all of this. You go through the medals and all of that. What is actually happening? Do you feel secure when you enter that particular place and you get in the plane? Do you feel secure? because that's one of the things they citing. Dr. George, you are muted. You are muted.
Um, and I'm being like you, Mr. Sherry. I go through everything. Like,
Okay.
the line, I go through the
You
security,
go to the diplomatic line, right?
my shoe. I don't go to. I go through ordinary like breastplacing line. I take off
Okay.
my shoe. So the thing you talking about me, I experienced it
You
before. So
gotta check camera to believe that, Dr. George. You're not gonna give her that small people line. we gotta check the airport camera to believe that saying.
Dr. Judge, wait, let me ask you. Let me ask you. I mean, this is table talk, so we're not getting
yeah.
too technical here. But let me ask you: Have you ever gone? Let's say, have you ever gone to the immigration desk after you go through the ordinary people line? You get to the immigration desk. You give them your travel document, your credential. The
Yeah.
person does not even look at it and just say, "Oh, boss man, I hear," and before you know it, they stand the thing. Whether it's correct, it's incorrect. Whether it's valid, it's invalid. Have you had that interaction with our people? I'm not saying put them out there,
Not
but to
not not
anybody,
not recently. You know, the last time I traveled, I did come on this show to thank the immigration personnel. They were very professional. The last time I went to Liberia last year September, and every year since Madam Salif government, I've not been really confronted. Once in a confronted with bribery at the airport. I don't know why, but I'm speaking on behalf of myself.
the Dominican look at your face and say they probably me.
I don't know why. But speaking of myself, I've not really been confronted with bribery at the airport. In fact, the last time I went to Liberia September, it was very smooth. Came down that stuff went down. They took my passport, told me where to go on the line, stood on the line. My passport was stamped, and I walked out of there. When I was coming back, the same procedure was longer because my wife and I was coming back together. I think so, and it was much longer in that process. Uh, but we did meet a very friendly young lady. Met a woman. I mean, I say young lady, woman who we went through the whole something. So nobody asked me. I do it personally because when I see the professionalism, I appreciate it. Put my hand in my pocket to say thank you. And I mean, it's not only Liberia we have done that. Those of you who travel a lot, like some of us have done in our past life, will know
Have
that
you
my
done that any US? Have you done that any US airport? Have you thanked anybody at US airport? I beg you.
yes, yeah, I have.
I beg you, Dr. Josh, please. Don't
You say
don't tell
yes, I say yes, I have. You
you better
know
put.
anybody.
No, I'm speaking our language. When you say you put your hand in your pocket and you tell them thank you, I know what you mean when in the context of Liberia. You will
Yeah.
not try that stuff here at any European airport. You will not try that stuff in
Who,
Ghana. You will
who
not
told
try.
you? Who told
Come
you?
on, man. Dr. George, come on.
Everybody get trying.
No, here in the US, you go stay at somebody's airport in the US and put your hand in your pocket and get them $20 and say thank you for being professional.
Who you
You
talking
know,
about? Now you talking about people that get a camera on there, or you talking about the other people?
I'm talking about you.
We're talking about custom agent, but anyway,
Oh, you
so
talking about custom agent? Oh, no,
yeah,
you get to that side, people got camera on there, they afraid. I don't say they can feel and breathe it because they are not they are not be paid more than other people yet. So but they got camera on there.
But Steven, pick up the story. Pick up the
yeah.
story.
So I think, to be honest, I went to Liberia back in 2013, then went back in 2022. When I was coming back in 2022, I saw a high level of professionalism
Mhm.
that I really appreciated. Right, the first thing I will pull on the side because I have panganut oil. I will bring in, and they say you're not supposed to bring oil in your luggage, right? So they pull me aside to investigate why I was bringing panganut
Oh, they
oil.
even took my kayan. You just still thank you for bringing it. That thing, they took my kayan the last time.
They hear you. Right? So after I told them it was something just for me to eat, it wasn't for sale. She permitted me. She said, but when you get to the airport in the US, they may take it out of your luggage and they may not permit you to enter the US with that. I said, that's fine. But then even the whole process was so good that I actually gave them tip. The guy walked after I passed them, the last person that I told him, I said, hey, please give this to you and your friend. You'll share it. And I told him, I pointed out the other guy, and I said, this was great. I like the way
walking you through that?
No. It was like after I passed through all the security, the airport was
Okay, I
developed.
thought
I
you
think
said
go
the guy
upstairs.
was walking me through that.
No. You go upstairs after you pass the last immigration guy. You go upstairs. So I went and said, "Listen, I really appreciate the professionalism. Thank you for what you guys doing because this paints a better picture for Liberia. Because the last time I was here, it was horrible. Because everybody that say hello to you to the last person you meet, probably entering the plane, you will have to give them something, and it wasn't fair and it wasn't secure." And then coming back to President Trump, I watched the video. What he said, one of the things I know for sure, based on the things that he said, Liberia, I don't think Liberians come here to do anything bad, like to harm the U.S. No, that one part, we're not part of that. I will just clarify that for President Trump. The only thing he can say for us is that we overstay our visa, which is one thing, and then the security at in obtaining our passport, right? Is a Liberian ready or Liberian? That's a question President Trump is asking that the Liberian government need to answer. And I think if the Liberian government can answer that question fairly, they will drop us from the list. But the thing is, we have 60 days. Can we really do this within 60 days to really find out if a Liberian is a Liberian or the Liberian that own our passport, are they really Liberians?
No,
That's
Steve, thank you. That's a good point. But let me tell you what is happening. The government is doing that, even though we got that 60-day to correct. But I think we had until Wednesday of last week to
Mhm.
actually send them just the fresh draft of what our plans are, like the criteria. Like, hey,
Okay.
we received your letter. This is what we plan on doing. So I think they gave them, they received that the notice went out on the 14th, and I think by the 18th we should have responded. So I think that was put together. But one of the things that is very high right now, as I spoke to friends in Liberia, as I also spoke, I sent someone to our National ID card center. The person went there, one of our friends, just in preparation for the show. The place it was overcrowded as they have seen. Because now, even places like Western Union, people are just walking to Western Union Center or RIA and showing their passport and getting money. When someone sent money to them from here in the States, they would just go to RIA with their passport because they don't have national ID, and they were accepting the passport and they would get money. But now they are actually tightening some of the loopholes. And I respect that. I mean, look, that is such a kudos. The guy went to the National ID Center in the Congo Town area there. He sent me video. The place was overcrowded. Everybody is now going in line, waiting to get that ID. I even know some people who are waiting to get that national ID, and the National ID Center now, they have a set number for a day. So if they say today we're only taking 60 people, when that 60 reaches, you can be 61. You cry, I got to travel tomorrow. You're not getting in. And
Yeah,
so
because
that,
we let Lamino town thing in the country. I don't know how it spread. I mean, my last trip to Liberia, I went to the national ID. My second day, I went and did my national ID card. The only problem, the printer are not working. But I went there, and again, they were very professional. Somebody came because I have this funny accent, came to ask me if I was Liberian. By the time we finished talking, they said, "Well, wondering whether they were from Liberia or not," because they didn't even know. all the people who came and they came to Monrovia, they thought they knew. She thought asking me question. When I started naming all the places, she became confused. And when another old man I was saying now, they said, "Oh, but you know they play bad talking about you know." Why you can't? I mean, the play that Madam Piquet, you can't ask me about Mario. Fine, another question.
oh man.
But again, you see, I don't think the U.S. government expect us to solve the problem of all the Liberians who have passport around the world issue right now. But the issue
No.
is to strengthen it, to put in
Mhm.
place plans, because I think the ECOWAS passport lasts for 3 years or so. And the pitch is very, very. I don't know that passport was made to make money. You people forgive me at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but it didn't be on my half for a long time. I must say, the old Liberian passport will need to have about 50, 60, 70 pages in it. This new passport, I think I only 15. I think they stamp your passport. When I used to travel regularly, almost every 3 months, I was going to change passport. I'll get it. I used to be every 3 months. I go change because every time you go to, by the time you travel, especially when you're traveling through West Africa, driving, right? Everybody gonna stamp you 2-3 times, right? So I don't know. The new ECOWAS passport is a money-making passport because the pages, as compared to the old passport, there were more pages. This one, the pages are less. But yes, within the framework, whenever we come to change our passport, we could put in the unique structure to weed up all of that. But secondly, the government have had, this is not strange. You know, sometimes we get angry when laws are passed, but this should not be strange to us. We have had investigation, Andrew Wampo's investigation, that he definitely confessed that we're setting our Liberian passport. The sheik that was arrested, Shikanti, that Kente or Kanti, Kante, pronounce it for me better, those of you who know how to pronounce the name, that was arrested in the US. He had a diplomatic passport. He had no reason. He was not on any diplomatic mission. The other drug person that was arrested in Mexico, he had a Liberian diplomatic passport. So when you have your diplomatic passport in the hands of unscrupulous people, countries will, how they call it, as I was saying in my introduction, there was a time when the civil war started in Liberia in the 1990s. You could travel to 94 countries around the world without a visa. Once you had a Liberian passport, 94 countries, including South Korea, Thailand, big countries are calling South Korea, Thailand, Singapore. You could travel to those 3 countries without a visa. But we started giving our visa to unscrupulous people. So when you want to go to Thailand, you have a Liberian passport, you will be doubly scrutinized because of what we have done in Thailand. I think the same thing is true for Malaysia. The same thing is true for South Korea. But there was 94 countries, good countries in the world that you as a Liberian could travel. You never needed a visa to do that before the Civil War started. So our government have to get serious of this. In as much as it will be painful, it will be good for those of us who travel with Liberian passport. I'm talking about Mr. Sherry and Mr. Steve. Those are all who travel with Liberian passport. I'm talking about. For those who travel with Liberian passport.
So since you're talking to no, sorry, because you bring my name, I gotta interrupt you, my man. We don't start trouble. I'm sitting in my corner, minding my business. Don't start trouble.
No, that's what I'm saying is that for those who travel for Liberian passport, once we go through this thing, let me give you an example, right?
Well, you can travel with 2. You can travel with 2 if you want.
But let me just tell you, there's a law in America here that the passport you travel over, the IC passport will bring you back.
Oh man!
so that extra money you want to pay for visa, or that extra money you want to pay to but no, but Mr. Sherry, when the biometric passport was introduced, right? There was a significant difference for those anybody who traveled before. There was a significant difference when we went to embassies to get visa with the biometric passport as compared when we had our old ordinary passport, Liberian passport that everybody has had copy in West Africa. There was a significant shift. You could see brief or you could travel. As I said, when I went to UK the first time, I had the ordinary passport, so I was made to sit on the bench. But when I was introduced when that biometric passport was given to me, when I went to UK, nobody asked me any question on the airport. They just saw my something, asked me what I was doing. I went into it. So having a passport with integrity is extremely important. And I hope that our government will take this serious because it's a serious tax of the government, even our national security. You put our passport in all these scrupulous people's hands. Our national security, remember what happened recently, last year, last 2 years, when our president had appointed this gentleman to be our National Election Commission chairman, and we're going to find out that he was traveling with a Liberian passport, he was not a Liberian citizen. Our national security at stake. We're about to appoint someone in an integrity institution. In fact, the man he was head of our integrity institution, he was head of our corruption institution. And we pick him up from there to put him in charge of our elections. But yet then say that person was not a Liberian citizen.
Steven, we're not hearing you. You're talking, but we're not hearing you.
No, no, I say again, that goes to what Trump is saying, right? We don't want anybody to just come in our country. So it's Liberia allowing anybody to become a Liberian, to hold a Liberian passport, right? So I think it brings us back to the beginning of the show that the government have to take this serious. Everybody at that passport office have to forget the bribe business a little bit and take the passport process serious. That everybody that is getting passport should be a Liberian. I mean, other countries require you to have a witness. Other countries require you to show proof that you're already a citizen. So what proof? We need to step up our game to say the proof that people bring in should be maybe some real family member. You have to find some real family member. And record keeping too is important, right? Like for example, if you ask the foreign affairs ministry right now, how many Liberians hold diplomatic passport, can we pull that record? Can we call those people since everybody register with phone number? Right? Say we have a problem with our diplomatic passport, we need to update it. We need to come back to Liberia at some point. Can we do that? So record keeping is also important. Having a database, some electronic form to be able to reach out to these people to correct this thing, I think will help Liberia in a greater scheme of things. So I wanted to add that. You guys can.
No, that's a good point. But Dr. George, I know today I'm just on the show today, guys. I want to have fun with this.
Mm,
Look, because I've been interviewing people, calling people. One of my
mhm,
friend who is a chronic December.
mhm.
He called me, say, my man, does this mean we can't go to Liberia?
No,
Who's a
when you are
chronic
a
December?
Liberian citizen, when you are a U.S. citizen, you can go. But if you are just holding a Liberian passport and as a green card holder, I would be afraid to go though because.
No, but this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, gentlemen. We are gonna go to who this actually impact because when you look at it, they are not saying, look, U.S. not saying you American citizens don't go. You can go. You can go. But I mean, what they're gonna do though when if the ban, let me say if the ban was enforced, it would be difficult for them to issue new visas. They are not going to be issuing new visas. So, Dr. George is not going to walk to the embassy and say, I'm going for your family reunion for 2 weeks and then they issue him visa. It will be difficult. Those are the people that Dr. George. I know we talk about you talk about our visa in everybody's hand. We give it to everybody, we sell it to everybody. But this is not new for us, Dr. George. Apart from Panama, Liberia is one of the world's major flagships in the world. You know this. When it comes to maritime issue and all of those. We carry, we'll put our flag on anybody's ship to carry just to do any kind of thing. So this is something that we have done in the past and something that, yes, maybe it have not come to that part, but witchcraft know that friend witchcraft. Trump know exactly what we do when it comes to the maritime thing. So he now want to correct it and want to make sure that Dr. George not moving around with our passport, going here, going there, selling it to his friend. Dr. George, you got diplomatic passport, right?
No,
He said no. He's scared.
no, I'm
We,
not that.
we have to show we should have brought our passport and so we can just fly in the air so people can
The
see.
only
That-
other passport I've held in my hand beside the ordinary passport is the United Nations passport.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
I,
okay.
I
I knew
traveled,
you had some kind of diplomatic pass, something
with that
diplomacy.
for a few years, but no, I only carry like an ordinary passport. But I mean, you're right. But what I totally agree with also with Dr. Positive, if you are a green card holder or you have visa to travel already, don't mind what Mr. Sherry said. Do make sure that your trip is extremely important because once a country is flagged and you are coming from that country, you will be flagged also.
Mhm.
And the flag coming from that country. Let me just share this with you because I have experienced it. When the moment your plane, before your plane leave Liberia, the entire list of those of you on that plane is already with the United States of America Custom and Border Service. It's already there going through scrutiny.
That's
Your
true.
name are going through scrutiny. If you didn't know it before, let me tell you that because I have experienced it. I experienced it in Nigeria where I had to wait for 2 hours to get approval. from
So,
custom.
why they put arrested you at all the how you call it airport and what you been doing at
I was,
the holding you?
I was not arrested. You
I
know?
mean, like even the detain you. Let me put the right English detain you. What?
No,
Go ahead.
okay. In South Korea,
Mm-hmm.
they have a policy that you have to have an insurance, and a South Korean insurance to be in country. So when we flew from Nigeria into South Korea, we had to wait for the person who invited us to get an insurance, get our insurance before they allow us into the country. They wanted us to have South Korean insurance. We were not told that at the embassy. The embassy.
Continue with the point you are making was very important. I just wanted to check before you continue.
and I told you in the UK was because we changed from the ordinary passport to the biometric passport. Our traveling, I did not know. I had
Josh, they're making you free pass. The message you can continue the
so I mean, what I'm saying is that yeah, they flag your document before you leave the airport. They send to custom and how they call it, they review it. So once your country is flagged, there is double scrutiny on everybody coming from that country traveling. So that's the reason why if you are in this category and you want, I won't encourage you to travel Liberia because the flag is already up. You can. I'm not saying you can. If you have emergency, you can. But once your country is flagged, everybody coming from there goes on trouble scrutiny. Even American citizens themselves that coming from there that is Caucasian or different color, how they call it, Black American. Once that country is on that list, but that document copy, they're going to scrutinize you all one by one. Remember, the reason they're saying that is that we have integrity problem with our documentation. Mr. Sherry added another one. Our airport have problems. So they're going to scrutinize that list to make sure that nobody infiltrated into the system in Liberia. And sometimes, if you notice it, when you get to Brussels, those of you who travel through Europe and other countries, when you get to Brussels, they carry you through a second scrutiny before they put you in a plane to come here to the US. That second scrutiny means that some of you may have had problem, and Brussels is saying that I'm not going to take responsibility for you. I'm going to make sure that all these documents is in order, and if you were flagged, they're going to have a conversation with you to clear up the issue where you were flagged about. Those of you who travel a lot, you may have experienced it. Yes, sometimes it just looks like a friendly conversation, but you can read between the lines. You can read between when you're going through whether there is something about you that needs extra understanding of who you are.
To be honest, Dr. George,
I want to
finish your point. Yeah.
One point I want to conclude on that we never raised is that the third issue is the overstay of our visa and not returning. Half of us don't go back. And this issue lies in the hand of the government. Nobody in this world will leave their country to live in another person's country if the country has employment, if we can get work to do, if we have security, if we have peace. Nobody will leave their country easily for that. So the reason why Liberia are overstaying is because the economic situation in the country is bad. And our government should start, as we have been saying it on the show over and over, every year we hear different things, but we don't hear how many people are employed. 2025 is coming to the end. Our government is not going to tell us how many person has been employed. We need to start that. How many jobs were created? How many Liberians were employed? Because until we do that, those who have the influence to travel and come abroad, it will be very difficult for them to go back. And that again will become a problem for every one of us. So we have to start develop an opportunity, developing the private sector, giving opportunities for us to create jobs for our citizens.
Yeah, I really like the part that you made. Oh, Stephen, go ahead, Stephen.
No, I said that's a great point, Dr. George. For me, the only country I overstayed my visa in was Liberia because I was enjoying too much. So they told me I overstayed my visa, but I was hoping
Stephen, say, is that correct? Are you really joking or is that serious?
No, I went there and they told me I overstayed my visa, so I had to pay, or else they were going to send me back, keep me in Liberia, and I didn't want to stay in Liberia. The guy said I had to go back to the Foreign Affairs Ministry to settle to correct that why I stay in a country. So basically, I had to give him something so that I can leave Liberia.
You see,
They said
that's part of the unseriousness we're talking
no,
about.
I'm not
You
serious.
see,
They
that's
said
part
the
of the
fee was
unseriousness.
$25 though. They said the fee was $25, and I had to pay that fee. I don't know if when a custom officer tell you there's a fee for something and you have to leave, you don't question them whether it's wrong or right. I said, where the receipt? He said, we don't give receipt. You understand? So yeah. So the fact that I overstayed that time, I didn't get receipt. Because I wanted to pursue that. I was like, where's the receipt? And that was back in 2013. That's what I'm saying. My travel to Liberia in 2022 was different from 2013 because 2013 coming in, it was a trouble. Leaving was a trouble. You understand? But 2022 was completely different. You understand? So, but like Dr. George said, there's a reason we travel to Liberia. There's a reason people travel here and they overstay their visa. So it behooves us as a people. What are we doing to make our young people want to stay in Liberia? Right? There's a kid that I spoke to a few times, right? Wilmot. This kid said, I do not want to leave Liberia. I love Liberia. I want to do something in my country. You understand? But we just don't have the government, we don't have the system to support us. That's why some of us want to leave. But for me personally, I do not want to leave. And today this kid is still in Liberia, trying, doing whatever he can to survive. You understand? So our kids want to stay, but we need to create the environment. And to us in the diaspora who have money, I would say let's open businesses. And if the government can create the avenue, make it possible for us to open businesses easily, then those kids can now have jobs. So we don't have to rely only on the government to provide jobs.
You see,
Sharif,
and that's the point I was going to make directly, because I think every time we talk about the economic situation in the country, we always automatically go to the government. The government has to do this. The government has to do that. But there are lots of well-meaning Liberians, whether they are in Liberia, whether they are in the diaspora. There are people who have opportunities to actually go and invest in the private sector. People can go invest in the private sector and hire someone. Look, I mean, people have done it and they are succeeding. Lester Cromand, the likes of Lester Cromand today, Calabash. Last time I spoke with him directly when I was in Liberia, he told me that he had, at the time, this was what, 2023, that he had hired over 90 people, 90, in that little establishment right in the Congo Town area. There are other people who got entertainment center and they're hiring people. So the private sector is a place. But Stephen, to your credit, the last part you made about the government creating the avenue, because people want to come to Liberia to invest, but if they don't feel secure, they don't feel safe, they're not bringing that investment to the country. So one way or the other, I guess we got to bring the government in, but I don't think the government should take the full responsibility about the economic situation. Yes, we employ them to do it, but the private sector needs to be invested into, and only Liberians can actually do that to help our young people and our older people alike. I mean, older people live in Liberia too, not just young people. But
yeah. So the
people,
point that George made, right, in statistics, they say you cannot um, measure what you cannot count, right? You cannot measure what you cannot count. So for unemployment, you cannot solve the problem of unemployment if you don't know how many people are unemployed. You understand? And basically, the reason that most people even come to America and want to overstay is because if I'm not working and I have an opportunity to come here for a visa, I have a visa to come here, eventually I would just want to stay. You understand? So if we create the environment where we know that, oh, okay, 10 people are unemployed, then we can say, oh, Mr. George, who get the money here, can go and open company in Liberia and hire those 10 people, or Mr. Sharif, the other wealthy guy on here, can also go and open a company. But all in all, our processes have to be checked, and they have to be validated such that we are respected around the world. And that's all we are saying on this platform today. Liberia has been a nation. We on the United Nations Security Council right now as a big name. So even just being secure as a country that people can trust, that alone means something. So without the American ban on us, we should try to strengthen our security system such that other people can respect us. When they see Liberian passport, they say, oh yes, Liberians are people that with high integrity. So they're not coming here to do anything bad to our country. They are here to create job for us. They are here to create opportunity for us. Mr. Sheriff, I'm done.
Oh no, Stephen, thank you. I think you make the point for us. You
Mhm.
make the point for us. I think it is very fair for us to look at it in that direction, to just go back and say, hey, this is exactly what we want to do. This is exactly how we want to do it. Look, it is not a good thing for. In my closing here, I just got to say this: we don't want to be on any ban. That is why, if you look at our flyer, one of the thing, the question I asked was, how can we in 1 month go from celebration to now, having that sad moment? We were celebrating that. Look, we just got, you know, called to this United Nations Security Council, even though it's non-permanent seat, but at least we are there. That's a big deal for the country. For a small country that just experienced civil war, that's a big deal. And
Mhm.
then just to be placed on a ban, potential ban. Look, I don't want to say it's a ban because it's not in full effect yet, but just to be placed on our list, just by being put on our list, it's not a good thing for our country, because now our individuals, our citizens from Liberia who are going to be traveling here, whether they're coming for wedding, they're coming for graduation, or mom is sick, they just want to come and see mom for the last time before she passes. Now they got to go through heavy scrutiny. And I can only say, if we stay on that list and don't get off that list, many hearts will be broken, because many Liberians will come to this country with that visa. They will come to the airport and they will be turned around and sent right back by immigration efforts officers at the airport. And we
Mhm.
don't want that. So whatever we are appealing to our government, whatever you have to do, do it. What I have seen happening, tightening the national security ID card thing, making sure that passports are validated, what you're doing, you are heading in the right direction. Continue to do more of those and let our people have this ban removed. We don't want that on our head. Even if it's few months, we don't want it. It has to go. So you got to do what you got to do. Stephen, go ahead and close, and Dr. Joshua end the show.
Oh, I mean, I thought I already said it, but again, to the Liberian government, we want to say congratulations again for being on the United Nations Security Council, but with big title or big responsibility. With power come more responsibility, right? With more power, you get more responsibility. So now you are challenged to step up your security game to make sure that people who own Liberian passport are really Liberian. People that are carrying your country passport have integrity. That we don't have people going to become BMs and all those stuff on our Liberian passport where our reputation get tarnished. There are many good Liberians out here who want to represent you well as a country. So please do the best you can to make our passport valid. Any document that somebody bring from Liberia, make sure that is valid so that the international community can respect us. Dr. Judge.
Oh, thank you all for being part of this program. For those of you on Freedom FM watching us relaying, have a wonderful evening. It's been great having this conversation. There's a looming travel ban. Hopefully, our government will get it right. There is nothing that we cannot change as a great nation. But going forward, we should not wait for other people to tell us that what is wrong with our country. Every one of us know what is wrong. Let us fix the problem. That's what makes us a sovereign nation. Whenever other people have to come to your house to tell you your house is dirty, it's a big problem. Know that your house is dirty on your own and clean it for yourself. It's respectable to do that. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. Look forward to seeing you next week when we have another edition of Table Talk.